What you're about to learn in this video might just reshape the way you see attraction forever. Not just in dating, but in every kind of relationship you'll ever build. So I ask you to stay fully present. Don't skip, don't rush. Because if you've ever been ghosted, overlooked, or constantly trying to prove your worth to a woman, this message is for you. Now, let me ask you something real. Why is it that some men average in looks, average in income are chased, obsessed over, even idolized, while others, rich, muscular, perfect on paper, are ignored, ghosted, or worse, used? If you think the difference is money, height, jawline, or gym hours, you're not seeing the full picture. Because here's the truth no one told you. Powerful men attract not by chasing, but by choosing silence. See, most men are addicted to attention. They fall into the trap of over-texting, over-explaining, over-justifying. They give too much, too soon, for too little in return. But high-value men? They do the opposite. They know when to withdraw. Attention not to manipulate, but to command respect. And here's where it gets interesting. Women crave attention. They live in a world where it's handed to them on every app, every scroll, every room they walk into. So when a man pulls back not with bitterness, but with confidence, he becomes anomaly, and that anomaly becomes attraction. But listen carefully. Ignoring isn't about playing cold. It's not about being rude. There's a psychology behind it, a stoic clarity, a discipline, a self-mastery. And in this video, we're going to break that down into 8 timeless principles that high-value men understand instinctively, so you can stop being the man who gets played and start becoming the one who sets the tone. So if you're ready to reclaim your energy, your power, and your peace, stay with me. And if you're new here, take 2 seconds to like and subscribe. You're not just joining a channel, you're stepping into a mindset that could change your life. Now, let's begin. Number 1, be bold. Because before you can ever withdraw, you must first have the courage to step forward like a man. Chapter 1, be bold. The first move is yours. A high-value man doesn't wait to be chosen. He chooses. While most men sit back hoping that something or someone will fall into their lap, the man of value moves. He sees what he wants, he assesses, and then he acts. That mindset? It's not arrogance. It's courage. And it's exactly what separates the passive from the powerful. You've heard the phrase, fortune favors the bold. But have you ever truly lived by it? This principle has echoed across centuries, from the battlefields of history to the internal struggles of the Stoic philosophers. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic masterons, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He didn't say, wait until the right moment. He didn't say, hope someone notices your value. He said, act with clarity, with resolve, without apology. In your dating life, this means one simple thing. You must be willing to initiate. Because waiting is the language of fear. Acting, that's the language of self-respect. Picture this. A man stands in a crowded room. Music, movement, eyes everywhere. Across the space, he notices a woman who captivates him not just for her beauty, but her energy. His heart pounds. The voices in his head start whispering doubts. What if she says no? What if she ignores me? What if I embarrass myself? But then, he remembers who he is. He breathes, and he walks. That moment, that first step, says more about his value than any pickup line ever could. And guess what? She responds. Not because he's the tallest or the richest guy in the room, but because he had the courage to act when others hesitated. Now, let's be clear. Boldness doesn't guarantee success in every moment. You may face rejection. You might fall short. But that's not failure, that's feedback. The man who dares is the man who learns. And the man who learns, eventually, wins. A 10-year study from the University of California revealed that assertiveness in men consistently ranked among the top predictors of long-term romantic success. Not appearance, not wealth, but the ability to act with certain even in uncertainty. Why is this so powerful? Because boldness sends a signal to the world and to the woman in front of you that you're not paralyzed by fear. You're not waiting for permission to be noticed. You own your presence. And in a world full of men who are too afraid to speak, that presence is rare. And rare is valuable. But being bold doesn't mean being aggressive. It means being centered, clear, grounded in who you are and what you want. You're not trying to impress. You're not trying to convince. You're simply showing up as a man who moves forward, with or without approval. Let's bring in the wisdom of Epictetus, who said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That's boldness. Clarity of identity, followed by aligned action. Even in history, we find the same truth. Alexander the Great wasn't great because of his birthright. He was great because he acted while others hesitated. He made bold, calculated moves. And that energy vision backed by courage is what changed the course of the world. Now bring that down to your life. You're not ruling empires, but you are ruling your choices. You are deciding whether you spend your life watching or entering the arena. Whether you let opportunities pass or walk straight into the discomfort of growth. Even in rejection, you win. Because each no sharpens you. Each awkward moment teaches you. Each bold move separates you further from the average man who hides, waits, and wonders. The Stoics didn't believe in fate as a static thing. They believed in showing up, acting with virtue, and letting the outcome unfold. The obstacle is the way. So if fear is the obstacle, boldness is the way through. And here's the beauty of it. Boldness doesn't just transform your love life. It reshapes your entire character. In business, in fitness, in relationships. In every moment where hesitation used to live, boldness builds new ground. So ask yourself, what are you avoiding right now? What conversation haven't you had? What move have you been putting off? What opportunity are you secretly hoping will fall into your lap? Whatever that is, it's your moment. Step into it. Because nothing is more attractive than a man who doesn't wait to be chosen, but chooses to rise. Chapter 2. Attention is currency. Don't spend it cheaply. Every time a woman opens her phone, she steps into a flood. Likes, messages, comments, fire emojis, compliments on her appearance from men she's never met and probably never will. Before she even brushes her teeth, she's been validated by dozens of men competing for a moment of her attention. Now think about that for a second. Imagine waking up every day to strangers praising your beauty, offering approval before you've done anything to earn it. Over time, that kind of attention creates illusion not just about how the world sees you, but about who you think you are. This is the landscape men are navigating today. And in that noisy world of free attention, the man who withholds his becomes the loudest voice in the room. Marcus Aurelius said it best. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. So what is all that attention she receives? It's not truth. It's not real value. It's just perspective. Noise. A high-value man understands that his attention is not free. It is earned. You see, a man of substance may introduce himself. He may offer a warm smile. He may engage briefly. But once he's made his presence known, he pulls back. He does not continue to pour attention into someone who hasn't earned it. Why? Because his attention is currency, and he doesn't throw gold into the wind. This behavior is not cold, it's calculated. It's stoic. It reflects the principle of emotional control. You control what you give. You control where your energy flows. You do not let desire or craving pull you into a cycle of emotional dependence. Seneca put it plainly, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor. Craving her validation? That makes you poor in spirit. Giving her unlimited attention? That makes you easy. Withholding your attention? That makes you strong. And ironically, that's what makes you attractive. Because when you stop giving her what everyone else gives, Hirsch notices. She starts asking questions. Why isn't he chasing me like the others? Why doesn't he comment on my stories? Why does he seem unaffected by my hot and cold behavior? And that, my friend, is where the game shifts. Not because you're manipulating, but because you're showing true self-possession. This is what the Stoics called apatheia, not apathy, but serene detachment. It's the art of being unmoved by the external and firmly rooted in your internal clarity. So while other men throw compliments, chase replies, and burn energy trying to stand out, you stand back. You observe. You choose. And she feels the weight of that choice. Because now she's not being chased, she's doing the chasing. Now, she's not sure if she has your interest. And that uncertainty, it reveals more than any compliment ever could. This dynamic activates something ancient in her psychology. Curiosity, pursuit, desire. She will work harder for the man who doesn't hand himself over freely. And here's the Stoic twist. This isn't about withholding attention as a trick, it's about valuing your time. Epicurus once said, first, say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. If you see yourself as a man of value, act like one. A man of value does not give his time, energy, or emotional bandwidth to things or people that don't serve his growth. Let me be clear. We're not saying you should ignore women entirely. We're saying you should stop giving validation for free. Don't like every picture. Don't reply to every text instantly. Don't reward attention-seeking behavior. That's not indifference. That's discipline. Now imagine this. She posts a selfie. Dozens of men rush to compliment her. You don't even double tap. You're too busy in the gym. You're finishing a book. You're building something that matters. That silence becomes louder than any comment. Because it's rare. Because it's real. And here's the bonus, when you withhold attention, you filter. You separate women who are genuinely interested in your essence from those who are only interested in your praise. You stop attracting those who seek validation and start drawing in those who seek connection. This is the deeper game. It's not just about attraction. It's about alignment. You attract what you mirror. So if you are self-possessed, focused, clear, you will draw women who respect clarity. If you are chasing, simping, scattered, you will attract women who enjoy power but offer none of their own. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Don't waste your attention on followers. Be the man who leads." And if she's not ready to meet you there, then you've already won. Because you didn't chase, you stayed still. and stillness is power. Chapter 3. Embrace the fearless mindset. Confidence without permission. What separates high-value men from the rest is not just status, style, or words. It's mindset. A deep, unshakable belief in their own worth, no matter who walks into the room. They don't pedestalize women. They don't freeze up when she's beautiful. They don't shrink under pressure. Why? Because in their world, no one is above them and no one is beneath them either. A woman is not a reward. She is not a test. She is an equal, and he is unshaken. This fearless mindset is magnetic. When you exude calm, composed certainty, you become rare. And in a world of men who panic, overthink, and chase, that kind of presence is irresistible. Let's break it down. Most men feel anxious around attractive women. They get caught in their heads. They overanalyze every word, every pause, every glance. Because deep down, they still doubt their own value. They think she's doing them a favor just by talking to them. But high-value men flip that script. They don't need validation. They don't perform for attention. They belong in the moment because they know who they are. A study from Psychology Today found that confidence consistently ranks among the top 3 most attractive traits across all age groups and demographics. Not looks, not money, confidence. And here's what the Stoics knew long before any modern survey. Confidence comes from alignment, not performance. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Translation? Stop fearing what people think. Start moving toward who you are. That's what makes a man fearless. He is willing to look awkward, to take a risk, to grow. He doesn't need to control the outcome because he controls himself. This kind of inner stability is what Marcus Aurelius called fortitude. He ruled an empire while writing in his journal daily about how to stay centered, calm, and unmoved by flattery or fear. That's your blueprint. When you're around women, bring that energy. Be the man who listens fully, speaks slowly, and isn't afraid of silence. Be the man who doesn't perform, because presence is already enough. And here's something powerful. You don't have to fake this mindset. You can build it. Start with your own self-respect. Read books that challenge you. Train your body with discipline. Put yourself in situations where you might fail and do it anyway. Every act of courage, no matter how small, deposits another layer into your confidence. Because here's the secret. Fearless men don't feel fearless all the time. They've just decided to move through fear, not around it. The Journal of Personality and Social Psychology published findings showing that people who pursue continuous self-improvement are rated more attractive, more magnetic, and more emotionally stable. Why? Because growth creates depth, and depth creates presence. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't flex. It doesn't brag. It radiates. Seneca, the Stoic statesman, wrote, "Self-control is the chief element in self-respect, and self-respect is the chief element in courage." That's it. You don't need to dominate a room to be powerful. You just need to be at peace with who you are. And that peace is contagious. People feel it. Women feel it. They feel when you're not performing. They feel when you don't need anything from them. They feel when your attention is a gift, not a request. And that's where charisma is born. Because charisma isn't just about making people laugh or leaning against the bar with perfect posture. True charisma is calm. It's grounded. It's when others feel safe, seen, and respected without you trying to impress anyone. High-value men understand this. They're not chasing energy. They are the energy. And that comes from mindfulness, from presence, from being exactly where your feet are. The Stoics called this living in accordance with nature, not escaping the moment, but embracing it. Not wishing it were different, but standing strong inside it. You don't need a clever line. You don't need permission to feel confident. You just need to show up fully. And when you do, everything changes. So here's your challenge. Stop apologizing for your presence. Stop hiding behind excuses. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start becoming. Because when you embrace the fearless mindset, you don't just attract women. You command respect. You move differently. You breathe differently. You live differently. And that kind of man never goes unnoticed. Chapter 4. Don't be afraid to walk away. The power of silent strength. Confidence is not loud. It doesn't beg. It doesn't plead. And it definitely doesn't cling to someone who disrespects its presence. A man who knows his worth walks. Not out of anger, not to manipulate, but because he refuses to stay where his dignity isn't welcomed. Let's be clear, this is not a power move. It's a self-respect move. High-value men, grounded in Stoic wisdom, understand a simple truth. If you reward bad behavior, you invite more of it. Whether it's constant flaking, emotional games, public disrespect, or petty arguments every time you stay and tolerate it in silence, you're training her. You're teaching her that she can cross your boundaries without consequence. But the Stoic doesn't train people to mistreat him. He sets a line, and he keeps it. And when that line is crossed, he doesn't yell. He withdraws. Why? Because he understands what the Stoics taught for centuries. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. If a relationship becomes a source of anxiety instead of alignment, you don't try to fix the person. You fix your presence. You remove it. Let me ask you this. Have you ever stayed too long in a situation just because you were afraid to walk away? Because you hoped they'd change? Because you didn't want to look like the bad guy? That fear is the chain, and walking away is the blade that cuts it clean. See, emotional self-control is the mark of real maturity. Most men lash out when they're hurt. They argue. They try to explain their worth to someone who's already shown they can't see it. But a Stoic man? He doesn't explain. He doesn't beg to be understood. He simply leaves the room with his peace. Because silence, when aligned with self-respect, becomes deafening. And here's the irony. The moment you walk away not as a tactic, but as a choice, you immediately shift the dynamic. Suddenly, you're the one she can't figure out. You're the one who didn't play the game. And that silence, it echoes. Now listen, walking away is not about punishment. It's about realignment. It gives both people the space to reflect, to grow, to ask, is this how I want to treat someone who matters? That's why Stoicism promotes temporary withdrawal, not in bitterness, but in clarity. You retreat not to punish, but to protect your inner world. Seneca wrote, "He is most powerful, who has power over himself." In other words, the one who can walk away without noise is the one in control. Because when your self-worth isn't tied to someone's moods, reactions, or attention, you become untouchable. Not invincible, but unshakable. So next time she throws drama your way, don't engage. If she crosses your line, set the boundary. If she repeats it, walk. But here's the part most men miss. You don't walk away with resentment. You walk away with peace. No need for closure, no parting shots. Just a quiet exit from what no longer aligns with your values. That's what makes it powerful. That's what makes it stoic. You don't retreat from fear, you retreat with purpose. Because you know this: your energy is too sacred to be wasted in chaos. Your time is too valuable to be spent teaching basic respect. And your presence is too rare to be given to someone who hasn't earned it. When you walk away, you're not giving up. You're leveling up. You're choosing long-term self-worth over short-term attention. And let me be very clear, sometimes she won't chase. Sometimes she won't come back. Sometimes your silence will remain silent. But if your peace of mind returns, if your clarity sharpens, if your energy flows back to you, you didn't lose anything. You just removed a distraction. Walking away is not failure. It's self-mastery. Because the man who knows when to stay and when to go is the man who no one dares to play with. So if she keeps testing you with disrespect, if the pattern repeats, don't over-explain. Don't escalate. Just walk. Let your silence speak for your standards. Let your absence remind her of your value. Let your peace be your loudest message. Chapter 5. Stay busy with purpose. A man without a mission is a man lost in distractions, and distractions are the graveyard of potential. In a world where it's easier than ever to get pulled into mindless scrolling, fleeting pleasures, or meaningless validation, a high-value man takes the harder, nobler path, the path of purpose. He doesn't wake up and wonder what he'll do today. He already knows. His life is guided by clarity, vision, and intention. Whether it's building a business, mastering a craft, improving his health, or contributing to something bigger than himself, his time is accounted for. His energy has direction. As Marcus Aurelius declared, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." That is the code of the modern Stoic, not endless theorizing, not chasing the wind, but disciplined, focused action. Women are drawn to this type of man, not because he's flashy, not because he's constantly available, but because he radiates something very few men do today: substance, depth, direction. She sees a man who isn't chasing her because he's too busy chasing greatness. And that's not arrogance, it's alignment. The high-value man doesn't place women at the center of his universe, he places purpose there. And ironically, that makes him magnetic. Because when a man is deeply immersed in meaningful work, in a mission that challenges him, fulfills him, and sharpens him, he becomes rare. And rare is powerful. This doesn't mean you isolate yourself from relationships or emotions. It means you refuse to be consumed by them. You understand that emotional chaos, inconsistency, and drama are distractions that can derail the pursuit of mastery. You choose stability. You choose long-term thinking. Look around. Most men are reacting to life. Few are creating it. Most men are chasing pleasure. Few are building legacy. But the man of value doesn't chase validation. He generates it through competence, contribution, and clarity of mind. He trains his body not just to look good, but to discipline the mind. He sharpens his thinking, reading, reflecting, and learning from those who came before him. He manages his time like a king protects his kingdom, ruthlessly, intentionally, wisely. And he does all of this without asking for applause. Why? Because his reward is in the doing. This is the Stoic way. You don't become a man of value by asking for it. You earn it by waking up early when no one's watching, by grinding through doubt, by choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. Purpose is not a slogan. It's a battle against procrastination, weakness, comfort, and distraction. And you must win that battle every day. And here's the beauty of it. When you live like this, you don't need to chase women. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone. The right woman, if and when she comes, will not be someone you try to impress. She will be someone who respects what you've built. And if she doesn't, you keep building anyway. You must remember, women come and go, but character stays, legacy stays, impact stays. So while the world teaches you to become more charming, more entertaining, more compliant, I challenge you to become more disciplined, more focused, more grounded. Trade validation for vision. Trade attention for action. Trade short-term pleasure for long-term power. Because in the end, what separates the ordinary from the extraordinary is not talent. It's consistency. It's intention. It's waking up every day and choosing to live with purpose, even when it's hard, even when it's lonely, even when no one claps for you. So stay busy, but not just with anything. Stay busy with purpose. Stay busy with the fire that keeps you moving forward, even when the world tries to pull you back. Stay busy becoming the man you were born to be. Chapter 6. Don't react emotionally. What separates a boy from a man is not how loud he speaks or how hard he hits. It's how steady he remains when the storm comes. In a world where most men are emotionally reactive, quick to anger, desperate for validation, and easily thrown off by a text left on, "Read," the truly high-value man is different. He is calm, grounded, unshaken. And in that silence lies his power. If there's one thing that Stoicism teaches us, it's this: never let external events dictate your internal peace. Marcus Aurelius, writing from the front lines of war and the burden of ruling an empire, reminded himself constantly, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is not just philosophy. It is strategy. It is survival. In the modern world, men are constantly baited by media, by social pressure, by manipulative behavior in relationships. One day she showers you with affection. The next, she goes silent. One moment she's laughing at your jokes. The next, she's flirting with someone else just to see how you'll react. Most men, they take the bait. They lash out. They become needy, defensive, desperate. But a stoic man? He doesn't flinch. Why? Because he has already decided that no one controls his emotional state except him. He doesn't react. He chooses to respond or not respond at all. And in that pause, he reclaims his power. Imagine you're out at dinner. She mentions her ex again, clearly fishing for a reaction. Most men would frown, get jealous, or make a passive-aggressive remark. You smile slightly, take a sip of your drink, and let it pass. You're not cold, you're composed, because you're not trying to win the moment. You're living above it. This doesn't mean you're indifferent to disrespect. It means you know when and how to address it without giving away your center. When she pushes to see your breaking point, you don't break, you set a boundary. Firm, unemotional, clean. That is the mark of a man who governs himself before he tries to influence others. Stoicism teaches that self-control is the highest form of strength. Anyone can raise their voice, slam a door, send a barrage of texts. That's easy. That's weak. What's hard is keeping your tone calm when your pride is hurt. What's hard is staying focused on your goals when someone is trying to shake your foundation, and yet that's where your value is revealed. Let's be clear. Emotional mastery doesn't mean bottling everything up or pretending you don't care. It means knowing what deserves your energy and what doesn't. It means stepping back to ask, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer is no. There is something undeniably attractive about a man who is not emotionally needy, a man who doesn't rise to every challenge like it's life or death, a man who can let go of petty slights because his focus is on something greater. That kind of control radiates through his posture, his speech, his decision-making. It makes him magnetic, not because he's trying to be but because he's too centered to be moved. You've probably met men like this. They don't get rattled in an argument. They don't blow up when rejected. They don't spiral when someone ghosts them. They process, they adapt, and then they move forward, unshaken. They've built their emotional fortress brick by brick, and it shows. Science backs this up. Studies show that emotional regulation is a top trait linked to long-term success in relationships, leadership, and mental health. But here's the catch. Emotional control isn't born. It's built. It's forged in hard moments when you choose to breathe instead of react, when you decide to step away instead of escalate. Every time you choose composure, you reinforce the man you're becoming. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember, you don't owe them a reaction. You owe yourself your peace. Practice the pause. Breathe. Respond with dignity or with silence. Let your presence speak louder than any impulsive words ever could. Marcus Aurelius ruled over one of the most chaotic periods in Roman history. Wars, betrayal, plague. Yet in his meditations, he reminded himself daily to remain tranquil amidst the noise. That's what made him not just a ruler but a man of power. You too are building an empire your own. Don't let someone else's drama become your downfall. Protect your energy like you would protect your home. Guard your emotional state like you guard your future. You're not here to win arguments. You're here to win your life. Emotional control is not suppression. It is sovereignty. It is the quiet, commanding confidence of a man who is in full command of himself. And that, more than anything else, is what makes you unstoppable. Chapter 7. Embrace directness and precision. A high-value man does not speak to impress. He speaks to express with clarity, with confidence, and with conviction. In a world full of mixed signals, flirty games, and endless subtext, the man who is unafraid to be direct stands out like fire in the fog. Why? Because most men beat around the bush. They hesitate, mask their intentions, and hide behind vague messages, hoping to avoid rejection. But what they don't realize is this: avoidance doesn't protect you. It weakens you. It erodes trust before trust has even begun. A man of value embraces directness not as a tactic, but as a way of life. He knows that clear, honest communication isn't just attractive, it's rare. And in its rarity, it becomes powerful. From the first message, he doesn't play word games. He says what he wants. If he's interested, he doesn't hint-the-states it. If he doesn't want something, he doesn't stall, he declines. He values her time, but more importantly, he values his own. Directness is not rudeness. It's respect. It's clarity with intention. A firm tone with no need to raise your voice. It's being assertive without being aggressive. It's standing on your square and letting the chips fall where they may. Studies have shown that relationships built on clear communication have higher satisfaction, deeper trust, and far fewer misunderstandings. Why? Because clarity eliminates confusion, and confusion breeds conflict. Look around. How many relationships crumble not from betrayal but from assumptions? From expectations never voiced? From needs that went unspoken? A Stoic man doesn't leave his needs in the shadows. He doesn't outsource his standards. He speaks them, calmly, firmly, early, and that alone filters out anyone who's not aligned with his values. But here's where the real strength comes in. he also accepts rejection with grace. When he's clear about his intentions and the answer is no, he doesn't fall apart. He doesn't beg. He doesn't retaliate. He nods, he moves on, and he keeps walking his path without resentment. Because a man who knows who he is doesn't fear who walks away. This kind of emotional maturity is rare, and in its rarity, it radiates strength. Consider how much time most people waste chasing ambiguous situationships, reading into emoji patterns, decoding text tone, wondering what a maybe really means. The high-value man, he opts out of all of that. He's too busy building a meaningful life to entertain confusion. And when he encounters manipulation, he doesn't react. He withdraws. His silence is not a game, it's a boundary. He knows that attention is a currency, and he does not spend it on dishonesty or drama. If she tests his patience with games, he doesn't flinch. He lets her feel the weight of his absence, not the chaos of his emotions. In the dating world, this means rejecting the idea that women are puzzles to be solved. He does not decode behavior. He observes it, and if it contradicts his values, he walks. Because this rare man's not trying to win her over. He's trying to build something real, something stable, something worthy of his time and energy. Directness is not just a tool in relationships, it's a compass for life. It saves time, it draws in what is real and repels what is fake. It demands self-awareness and commands respect. And when practiced consistently, it does something powerful. It makes you undeniable, not because you're trying to be, but because you're the only one who isn't hiding. So if you want to elevate your relationships, your communication, and your life cut through the noise, speak clearly, act decisively. Let your words reflect your values, not your fears. And when necessary, say less and let your standards speak louder than your lips ever could. Because the man who embraces directness doesn't chase validation, he commands respect. Chapter 8. Don't change your plans for her. There is one behavior that silently destroys a man's dignity. Constantly adjusting his life to accommodate a woman who hasn't earned that level of priority. A high-value man never does this. Because to him, time is not something to casually give away, it is his most precious asset. A reflection of what he values and who he is becoming. Let's get something clear. You don't win respect by availability. You win it by alignment with your mission, your discipline, and your purpose. That's why high-value men never rearrange their goals, cancel their commitments, or abandon their routine just because a woman suddenly appears with last-minute plans or emotional turbulence. When you cancel your gym session, skip your morning routine, or delay your business meeting just to meet her sooner, you're not being romantic. You're signaling weakness. You're saying, my life isn't worth protecting. My time has no structure. And believe me, she feels that. Women may not say it out loud, but they can sense a man who doesn't respect his own time. And if you don't respect your time, why should anyone else? Think of Marcus Aurelius, Roman emperor, philosopher, and the embodiment of Stoic leadership. Every day, he balanced governing an empire with personal discipline, journaling, introspection, and mental training. Do you think he would cancel his meditations because someone texted him, "Hey, wanna hang out?" Not a chance. A high-value man follows a code. His calendar is more than a to-do list. It's a declaration of his mission. His schedule reflects his priorities, and only someone who consistently adds value to his life earns a place in it. Now, this doesn't mean being cold or inflexible. It means being intentional. It means not dropping everything at a moment's notice just to win favor. It means honoring your time, your commitments, and your vision. Because every time you abandon your priorities for temporary attention, You send a message to your subconscious. I'm not the priority in my own life. That erosion over time makes you needy. And neediness is repulsive not just to women, but to success itself. So what's the Stoic response when she wants your time unreasonably? You hold the line. You stay calm, respectful, and unwavering. You say, I've already made plans for that time, but I'd be happy to meet another day that works for both of us. No guilt, no apology, just clear boundaries. And if she respects them, you've found someone worth your attention. If she doesn't, you've saved yourself from someone who would have slowly drained your energy and broken your focus. Psychology confirms this. Studies show that individuals who are firm in setting time boundaries are perceived as more competent, desirable, and trustworthy. Why? Because people are drawn to those who know their direction in life and are disciplined enough to walk it. And here's something even deeper. Your ability to say no to impulsive invitations is what creates space for greatness. Every legendary athlete, thinker, and entrepreneur didn't rise because they said yes to every distraction. They rose because they protected their mission. They built a life that demanded others meet them at their level, not the other way around. Women are not drawn to men who are constantly available. They're drawn to men who are going somewhere. Men who have momentum. Men who wake up early not because they have to, but because they want to. Because their vision burns so hot, it pulls them out of bed before the alarm. This is the power of structured masculinity. And when you live this way, something beautiful happens. Your presence becomes rare. Your time becomes valuable. And women begin to pursue you not for attention, but to be part of the gravity you've created around your purpose. In a world filled with men who are easily swayed by attention, be the one who is swayed by vision. Let your goals dictate your calendar. Let your values dictate your responses. Let your mission dictate your energy. Remember, you are not the accessory to her story. You are the author of your own. And any woman worthy of your attention will respect that. So the next time you're tempted to cancel a workout, abandon your priorities, or rearrange your life for temporary attention, ask yourself, am I chasing her? Or am I building a life so meaningful she wants to catch up? Because true attraction isn't built on availability. It's built on gravity. And nothing creates gravity like a man in motion, unapologetic, unshakable, and unwilling to trade his purpose for fleeting comfort. Chapter 9. The Aura of Silence. Imagine being the most powerful man on earth, ruling millions, commanding armies, and shaping the destiny of an empire. Yet despite that immense power, you face betrayal from those closest to you, wars at every border, diseases you cannot stop, and moments of heartbreak no amount of authority can prevent. That was the daily reality of Marcus Aurelius, and yet he didn't crumble, he didn't lash out. He turned inward to silence, to composure, to stoicism. And that, my friend, is the same power you can claim today. When someone ignores you, whether a woman you care for, a friend who used to call daily, or someone you've helped who now pretends you don't exist, it stings. But here's the truth that Stoic men know. Rejection is not destruction. It is redirection. The first move: don't chase, don't plead, don't ask, what did I do wrong? You do nothing. You stay still. You stay silent. Silence, when practiced with purpose, not bitternesses, not passive. It's powerful. It creates space for you to reflect, to realign, to rise. In that space, you don't just withdraw from her, you return to yourself, to your mission, to your inner compass. Instead of reacting, you refocus. Return to your goals. Pick up the book you've been ignoring. Hit the gym. Launch that idea that's been stuck in your head for weeks. Plan your next chapter. Redirect all that emotional energy that was scattered towards someone else. and channel it like a laser beam into your own evolution. Because when she pulls back and you don't follow you, flip the power dynamic. You become the man she didn't expect, the one who doesn't beg, the one who doesn't need to explain himself, the one who is already gone emotionally before she even realizes what she's lost. This is not manipulation. This is mastery. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." So don't retaliate, don't mock, don't vent your pain publicly. Instead, embody dignity. Show no signs of weakness. Show no desperate need for closure. Because in silence, there is strength. In distance, there is direction. And when you must speak, speak calmly, briefly, with clarity. If she comes back, wondering why you've gone quiet, you look her in the eye and you say, "I'm not available for inconsistency." That one sentence tells her everything. That you have standards, that you value stability, that your peace is non-negotiable. This stoic silence becomes your shield and your sword. You don't use it to manipulate. You use it to protect your mind from chaos. You use it to defend your values. You use it to declare, "I will not be moved by petty games." At social events, you carry yourself with grace. No bitterness, no awkward glances, no attempts to prove anything. You engage with others. You stay present. You let her see that your world has not collapsed because she exited the stage. She will feel that absence. And if she was playing games, she'll be the one left wondering, not you. Because when a man radiates silent strength, he becomes unforgettable. Now, let's address what most men get wrong. They confuse silence with coldness. They become bitter, rude, passive-aggressive. That's not stoicism. That's insecurity in disguise. Real stoic silence is calm, composed, focused. It's the energy of a man who doesn't need attention to validate his worth. It's a man who can sit alone for a week and come out stronger, not lonelier. Silence is also a signal to yourself. It tells your subconscious, "I choose peace over pettiness. I choose growth over gossip. I choose purpose over reaction." And in that silence, you work, you build, you train. You connect with people who matter, with activities that elevate, with the parts of yourself you once neglected. Eventually, you realize something beautiful. You don't miss her presence. You miss your own potential, and now you've found it again. Let her watch you level up from the sidelines. Or not. Because the truth is, this chapter isn't about her anymore. It's about you, and you're no longer waiting to be chosen. You are choosing yourself. So remember, the next time someone ignores you, go silent, but not bitter. Go still, but not stuck. Go within, not backward. Because the man who does not need to prove himself is already ahead. If this message spoke to something deep within you, then stay with us. Subscribe for more insights rooted in Stoic wisdom and the unspoken truths of human nature. We're building a community of grounded men, resilient, focused, and free from games. Until next time, take care of your mind, protect your peace, and never forget, the power to lead begins with mastering yourself. I'll see you in the next one.